Son Christ. Well, Isupk Sabbath service has officially begun. La Yasharala, which means to Israel. Again, which means horn. Christ. All right. Men, women of Israel. Imajo, which means to stand. You're going to recite the prayers in the Hebrew. So upon your Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kwadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malachofka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Hawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Nathanawa, Nakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Hawawakinawa, Hasalakanawa, Hawawakinawa, Wala'ah, Habayayinawa, Banasai 1, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ahala, Wa'atapara, Iwalamya, Amen. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. A copy of power in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Baba Kashab, Nathanda Nawa, Hakak, Hakak, La Rapa'ah, Kamakala, Wakal Madawa, Hakak, La Ta'ah, Hamata Zarayim, Hakak, La Hakoyim, Hamathiim, Hakak, Al Rakaraf, Hatama'ala, Lagarashan, Lagarashan, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Tawada Aman. Tawada Aman. In the English of Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua, please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirit. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Ha-ha-ha-yam. Ma'ayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah. Isaiah Ma'ayin. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayam. Ra'arataza. Ayatan. Lamawat. Lagalka. Al-Yanawam. Shamalka. Hanala'ah. Yanawam. Wala'ah. Yayashan. Shalamar. Yasharala. Yahweh. Shamalka. Yahweh. Tazarka. Al-Yad. Yamyanka. Yawamam. Ashamash. La'a Yakaka. Wayarak. Balayallah. Yahweh. Yashamarka. Makarai, Yashamar, Afnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaafka, Wabawaaka, Ma'aita, Wa'aid Iwalam. In the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, even forevermore. Psalm 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Adam Yelakah, Al Takarash, Wa'al Tashakwat, Al Kaya Hana, Awayab Yaka, Yahama Yawan, Wama Shanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al Imaka, Ya'ira Yamwa, Sawad, Waya, Taya'ai Tazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amawa, Lakawa, Wanakat Yadam, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasharala, Iwa, Kaya, Nawa'ai Tazawa, La, Yakadwa, Al Yaka, Bara'af, Yakarafwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Waya Shamaya Layam, Waya Shamaya Layam, Mawa'aba, Wahagoyam, Gabal, Wa'aimawan, Wa'aimalak, Palashaf, Ain Yashabia, Tazawar, Gum Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zawawai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aisha Laham, Kamadia, Kasaya Sara'ah, Kasaya Sara'ah, Hayabiam, Banakar, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan, Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayatamwa, Nadayabmawa, Lanawa, Kaira, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Bak, Wakata Zalmanai, Kal, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amawa, Nayara Shah, Lanawa, Ah, Na'awaf, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Taba'ira Ya'ira, Wakalaaba, Talahat, Hoyam, Kan Taradatma, Basairaka, Wabasa Wapafka, Waba Sawapafka, Tabahalam, Mala'ah, Panyaham, Kualawan, Waya Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Waya Ba'alwa, Waya Ba'alwa, I Ya'ai. Waya Kapawa. Waya Abadwa. Waya Daiwa. Kaya Afa Shamka Yahweh Labadka Ayawan Akal Ha Arataza. Keep not thy silence, O my power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O my power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against our people, and consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assault also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zahab. Yea, all their princes, as Sabbath, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the power in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burning for wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O my power, O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Blessing in the Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? Why Mayaka Allah? Why Alahayim? Matazab Ya'ah. Alawak Yahana. Ha Alawapyam. Ha Saranyam. Ha Kwatazayanyam. Ha Kwataza Yanyam. Ha Kayayanyam. Waha Aquathian. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Tawada Aman. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yahana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. Bless Israel. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Barak Lanawa. Wayashara Allah. Wahabayah. Sapayim. Barak. Rapa'ah. Magan. Hagan. Yasharala. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Tawada Aman. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Bless us. And Israel. And the school. Bless. Heal. shield, protect Israel. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. I ask you to keep curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua, listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us. Thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into that sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet, and the airways, the cable access channels, the cable access channel, and the radio channel. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. Always. So be it. So, which means to turn. Yeshabia, be seated. Can you get me a bottle of water, Baba Christian? The water. Last week we left off at 2 Chronicles chapter 29.
This?
Bottle. They right there in front of under the table.
Oh, okay.
Come. Chapter 29, verse 29. Today we're going to pick up at chapter 29, verse 30.
There you go.
Let me confirm that. Second Chronicles. So like it. Second Chronicles 29 and 29 is where we left off at last week. So today we're picking it up at Second Chronicles 29 and 30 in the Hebrew. like it. $29 and $30. You got it, Aqua? 2 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 30.
Yeah.
Sunrise. All right. 2 Chronicles 29 and 30 in the Hebrew. Waya Amor, Yakaza Kwa Yahawah, Hamalak, Waha Sharayam, Lala Wayam, La Loyam, Laha Lala, La Yahawah, Bada Baraya, Dawayada, Wa'asak, Ha Kaza'a, Wayaha Lalawa, Aid, Lasha Maka, Waya Kwadawa, Waya Shata Kawawa, verse 31. Waya Aid Wa, Yaka Zakwa, Yahawah, Waya Amor, Aitha, Mala Atham, Ya Dakam, La Yahawah, Gashawa, Waha Bayahawa, Zabba Kayam, Watha Wa Dawaf, Labayath, Yahawah, Waya Bayawa, Hakwahal, Zabba Kayam, Wathawa Dawaf, Wakal, Badayab, Lab, Lawaf, 32, Wayahaya, Masahar, Laha, Ashar, Habayahawa, Hakwahal, Bakwa, Shaba'ayam, Ayalayam, Ma'aha, Kabashayam, Mahafyam, La'ilaha, La Yahawah, Kal, Allah, 33, Waha Kwa Dashyam, Bakwa, Shasha, Ma'awaf, Watazahan, Shalashaf, Alapium, 34, Rock, Hakahanayam, Hayawa, Lama'aitha, Wala'a, Yakawa, Laha Pasha Yaf, Af, Kal, Ha'ai Lawaf, Waya Kaza Kwawam, Aka Yaham, Ha Loyam, Aid, Kalawaf, Hamalaka, Hamalahaka, Wa'aid, Ya Taqwa Dashwa, Hakahanyam, Kaya, Haloyam, Yeshaya, Lababa, Laha, Tha, Kwadash, Mahakayanyam, 35, Wagam, Ilaha, Larab, Ba Kalabia, Hashala Mayam, wa bana sakayam la'ai laha wathaka one I bawad daf.
I should get your key. The parking meters is in effect. I asked the officers.
Good. You got
just assume. Yeah, I got the picture of
the number.
Meter. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just give it to me. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put the.
Oh,
you wanted to move it?
Yeah, because I just saw the parking space open up. So. Yeah, it's a parade. They're gonna close down 3rd and 124.
Oh, it's a Puerto Rican Day parade today, right?
I don't know.
I think it is. I think it's tomorrow actually. God. When you come back, make sure you got some Spanish flowers, all right? If you got to make some copies. All right, throw on. We in verse 36. Wakal ha'ain il haha kayan ha'a lahayam la'ain kaya ba taham hayaha hadaba. 36 second verse. Picking it up from the English. 2 Chronicles 29 and 30. And when they had made an end of offering, the king and all that were present with him bowed themselves and worshiped. Moreover, Hezekiah, if you remember from last week, we were talking about King Hezekiah, who reigned after his father. I forgot his father's name. I believe he was Ahaz. Khan. His father Ahaz, but his father Ahaz had done evil in the sight of the Lord, meaning that he was sinning by worshiping other gods, right? So his son, when his son became in power, which was Hezekiah, what he did is that he abolished all these idols that his father had made Israel worship, right? So he turned towards the Most High, contrary to his father. So he didn't follow after his father's ways. He realized that his father made a mistake, that his father went wrong, so he corrected that. So now we're going to read furthermore what he did to establish power in Israel righteously. Moreover, Hezekiah, the king of the princes, commanded the Levites to sing praise unto the Most High with the words of David and of Asaph the seer. And they sang praises with gladness, and they bowed their heads and worshiped. 31. Then Hezekiah answered and said, Now ye have consecrated yourself unto the Most High. Come near and bring sacrifices and thank offerings into the house of the Most High. And the congregation brought in sacrifices and thank offerings, and as many as were of a free heart burnt offerings. 32. And the number of the burnt offerings which the congregation brought was 70 bullocks. 70 bullocks. I believe that would be 70. 70 is 20. 70 is 60, and 10 bullocks, and 100 rams, and 200 lambs. And these were for a burnt offering to the Most High. All right. And the purpose of the burnt offering is really to hurt us. All right. You got all your bullocks, you got all your rams. That's money. That's to feed yourself. That's to feed your family. Now, when you do these sins, all right, against the Most High, now you got to bring your best to sacrifices. That's to hurt you. That's for you to say, you know what? I will not sin again. It's not because the Most High take pleasure in your sacrifice. The Most High don't need your bullocks, your ram, your sheep, your dove for sacrifices. What the Most High want from you is for you to sacrifice your flesh, right, and not be carnal and not sin no more. All right, this is the reason why today we don't sacrifice bullocks and rams and doves to the Most High. What we sacrifice is our flesh. All right. Verse 33, and the consecrated things were 600 oxen and 3,000 sheep. 34, but the priests were too few, so that they could not flay all the burnt offerings, wherefore their brethren, the Levites, did help them, till the work was ended. And the reason why is because during the priesthood of the Levites, only the Levites could do the sacrifices, and only the Levites could be priests. So the priests, because they were so few, they could not do all that burnt offering because there were so many. You're talking about 600 oxen. So you need a lot of Levites to take care of that burden. All right, till the work was ended and until the other priests had sanctified themselves, for the Levites were more upright in heart to sanctify themselves than the priests. 35. And also the burnt offerings were in abundance with the fat of the peace offerings and the drink offerings for every burnt offering. So the service of the house of the Most High was set in order. And Hezekiah rejoiced. And all the people that God had prepared and all the people, and Hezekiah rejoiced, and all the people, that God had prepared the people for the things was done suddenly. Picking it up at 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Wayashalak Yakaza Kwa Yahweh Island Kal Yasharala Wayahawada Wagam Agarawaf Katham Ail Aparium Wamana Shah Labawa Labaya Yahweh Bayara Washalam La'ai Shawaf Pasak. And this word right here, right? This is the word that in the Bible they translate as Easter, which is a wrong translation, because Pasach, when you look at the definition, it means Passover, but they translate it in the scriptures as Easter. All right. The end of verse 1 in 2 Chronicles chapter 30. La Yahweh Alahaya Yasharala, verse 2. Waya Aitaza Hamalat Washara Yawa Wakal Hakwahal Bayara Washalam La'ai Shawaf Hagasak Bakadash Hashanaya, verse 3. Kaya La'a Yakawa La'ai Shathawa Ba'ai Hahaya'a Kaya Hakahanyam La'a Hathakwa Dashwa Lamadia Waha'aim La'a Na'asapwa Laya Rashalam, verse 4. Waya Yashar Hadabar Ba'ai Yanya Hamalat Wa Ba'ai Yanya Kal Ka Wahal, verse 5. Waya Ai Mayadwa Dabar Laha Ai Bayar Kwawal Bakal Yasharala Maba'ara Shabai Wa'aid. I got a bottle, but leave it there. I drink a lot of water. I'll finish this one first. That's cool. God appreciate it. Drink your water, Israel. Summer is here. Be dehydrated out here. Complaining when the sun is too hot. All right, let's continue. The end of verse 5. La'ai Shawaf Pasak. Go that word again. La Yahweh Alahaya Yasharala Baya Rashalam Kaya La'a Larab Ai Shawaf Kaka Tawab, verse 6. Wayalakwa Hara Tazayam Ba'a Garawaf Mayad Hamalat Washarayawa Bakal Yasharala Wa Yahawada Wa Kama Tazawaf Hamalat La Amal Banya Yasharala Shawabwa Al Yahweh Alahaya Abaraham Yatazakak, Yatazak, Wayasharala, Wayashab al Hapalayatha, Hana Sha'arath, Lakam, Malakia, Asharar, verse 7, Wa'al Tahayawa, Ka'a Bawatha Yakam, Waka'a Kayakam, Ashar, Ma'ilawa, Ba Yahawa, Alahaya, Abawa Tayam, Wayat Tanam, Lama, Lashama, Ka Ashar, Atham, Ra Ayam. All right. 30:1 in the English. And Hezekiah sent to all Israel and Judah and wrote letters also to Ephraim and Manasseh that they that they should come to the house of the Most High at Jerusalem to keep the Passover unto the Most High power of Israel. Verse 2. For the king had taken counsel and his princes and all the congregation in Jerusalem to keep the Passover in the 2nd month. So Hezekiah, he sent these letters out to Ephraim and the tribe of Manasseh, tell them, look, we haven't observed the Passover in a long time. All right. Under my father, we were observing all these heathen holidays. We were worshiping all these idols. We coming back to the Most High. We're not doing these evil things anymore. We're coming back to the Most High and send these letters out. All right. Verse 3. Send these letters out basically so we could come back and observe the Most High holy days. For they could not keep it at that time, because the priests had not sanctified themselves sufficiently, neither had the people gathered themselves together to Jerusalem. Verse 4. And the king pleased the king, and the thing pleased the king and all the congregation, so they established a decree to make proclamation throughout all Israel, from Beersheba even to Dan, that they should come to keep the Passover unto the Most High power of Israel at Jerusalem, for they had not done it of a long time in such sort as it was written. Verse 6. So the host went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, and according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children of Israel, turn again unto the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remnant of you that escaped out of the hand of the kings of Assyria. So they went to search out the children of Israel. You wanted to say something? Okay. They went to search out the children of Israel that was scattered abroad. All right, and send these letters out. And this is what we are doing today. This is what Christ did. This is why it is such a vile thing when our people try to invite heathen into our congregation. Because when you look in the scriptures, we went out for our people. We went out for the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. That is Jacob. All right. Let's keep on going. Verse 7. And be not ye like your fathers and like your brethren, which trespass against the Most High power of their fathers. And Hezekiah right here, he's speaking from experience, because his father was evil. And he said, I'm not like my father. My father was evil. My father trespassed against the Most High. My father worshipped idols. My father celebrated Christmas and celebrated Easter and celebrated Thanksgiving and all these evil things. All right. When you go back to the, back then, that would be what, with the Assyrian, that would be, I believe, Ishtar. All right. Which is nothing but the same gods. It's nothing but the same gods that carry different names throughout the different kingdoms of this world, from the Egyptian to Assyrian, going way back to Mesopotamia. This is why Abraham, when you look in the book of Judith, this is why Abraham left his fathers Abraham left his fathers because his fathers were worshiping a million gods. I think they had a god for every day of the year. Abraham left his fathers. You could read that in the book of Judith, I believe the 5th chapter. It gives you the whole history of Israel from when Abraham left his forefathers because they were worshiping idols and left out to worship the Most High Power. All right. Middle of verse 7, and like your brethren, we trespass against the Most High Power and their fathers, who therefore give them up to desolation, as ye see. And as you can see, the Most High gave our fathers to desolation, and you can see our condition today. So don't be like your forefathers. Don't be like your mother. Don't be like your father. Don't be like your brothers who are celebrating Christmas, who are celebrating these vain holidays, and not worshiping the Most High God, because you can see the desolation. You can see it. You are experiencing it. This is what Hezekiah was saying to the people. All right, to all Israel. Verse 8, 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 8. Sha'ar, call Officer Kawak Babakasha. He's calling me. All right, verse 8. Aita'a al taqwa shawa ira pakam, and double check the chat if anybody's saying anything. Make sure the sound is tawab. Aita'a. 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 8. Aita'a al taqwa shawa ira pakam ka'a bawa tayakam tanawa yad la Yahweh wabahawa lama kwa dashwa ashar hakwa dayash la'ai walam wa'ai badwa af Yahweh Alahaya come Wayashab Makam Karawan Apawa, verse 9, Kaya Bashawa Bakam Al Yahweh Akaya Kam Waba Naya Kam Lara Kamayam Lapanya Shawa Baya Ham Wala Shawab La Arataza Haza Af Kaya Kanawan Rara Kawam Yahweh Alahaya Kam Wala'a Yasayal Hanyam Makam Am Tasha Wabawa Alayawa, verse 10. Waya Hayawa Hara Tazayam I Barayam Ma'ayara La'ai Ya Ba'arataza Apariam Wama Nasha Wa'aid Zabalawan Waya Hayawa Masha Kaya Kwayam I Layaham Wama La'ai Gayam Bam, verse 11. Ad Ak Anna Shayam Otawab Shaw Ma'a Shaw Wama Nasha Wama Za Balawan Wama Zabalawan Na Ka Na'aiwa Waya Ba'awa Laya Rawa Shalom, verse 12. Gum Bayahawada Hayata'a Yad Ha ala Hayam Latata Lataf Laham Lab Akad La'ai Shawaf Matazawaf Ha Malak Waha Shariyam Badabal Yahweh, verse 13. Waya Asa Waya Asapwa Yara Washalam Aim Rab La'ai Shawaf Af Kad Hamatazawaf Bakadash Hashania Quahal Larab Ma'ad, verse 14. Verse 14, that'll be the last verse. Waya Kwamawa Waya Saya Rawa Af Hamazaba Kawaf Ashar Baya Rashalam Wa'af Kal Hama Kwa Tarawaf Hasa Yawa Waya Shalaya Kawa Waya Shalak Waya Shalayakwa Lanakal Kwada Rawan, verse 14, that was the last verse. Second Chronicles 30:8 in the English. Now be ye not stiff-necked as your fathers were, but yield yourselves unto the Most High and enter into his sanctuary. All right, so don't be stiff-necked, don't be hard-headed. All right, don't be stubborn like your forefathers were, because our forefathers, they were stubborn. Our parents today, they are stubborn. You will show them in the Bible where you can't celebrate Christmas, that it is a Babylonian holiday. And they'll tell you, God knows my heart. God knows we only doing it. We only celebrating Christmas for Jesus Christ. We only putting a tree in the house for Jesus Christ because we are stiff-necked. We are stiff-necked people. We are hard-headed people. And the letters that were sent to our people said, don't be stiff-necked, man. Don't be hard-headed. All right? But yield yourself into the Most High and enter into this in his sanctuary. And this is what our people need to do today. We need to start being hard-headed and come into the Isupk, because Isupk is the sanctuary of the Most High. All right? There is no other place on earth where you can say this place is the sanctuary but the Isupk under command of General Yohanan, which he has sanctified forever, and serve the Most High your power, that the fierceness of his wrath may turn away from you. All right, and we could see, like he says in the earlier verse, in verse 7, like you could see the desolation, like you see it, and the fierceness of the Most High, we can see it. So wouldn't it be wise for us to turn away from these vain idols and the vain doctrine, the vain philosophy that got us behaving in the way that we are behaving today as a people? Wouldn't it be wise for us to turn back from that and turn towards the Most High, so that his fierce anger, his wrath could turn away from us? That would be a wise thing to do. Verse 9, for if ye turn again unto the Most High, your brethren and your children shall find compassion before them that lead them captive. So if you turn again towards the Most High, the God that you claim to love so much, if you turn towards God, not only will it benefit you, but your brethren and your children shall find compassion. So it is a selfish thing for you not to serve God. When you don't serve the Most High, you are destroying your entire nation. You destroy your parents. You destroy your children. You destroy your brothers. You destroy the people in Mexico. You destroy the people in the ghetto of America. You destroy the people in Jamaica and Haiti. All right? Don't tell me, oh, the Haitians are evil. Look at them kidnapping each other and killing each other when you over here in America celebrating Christmas. You're just like the kidnappers. All right? So because you are selfish. And selfishness brings destruction. It brings desolation. And it is a selfish thing not to serve the Most High God. because our own nation suffer when we don't. The same way our own nation will benefit when we do. All right, let's keep going. Your brethren and your children shall find compassion before them that lead them captive, so that they shall come again into this land. For the Most High, your power, is gracious and merciful, and will not turn away his face from you, if ye return unto him. Verse 10. So the post passed from city to city to the country of Ephraim and Manasseh, even unto Zebulun, but they laughed them to scorn and mocked them. And that what they do to us, Sha'al? You know, that's what they do to us. They're like, why are you wearing the shield of David? You should wear an ankh, man. You should wear an ankh, brother. You're Egyptian, man. We pharaohs, we kings.
You look like Power Rangers.
Yeah, you look like Power Rangers out here. What's wrong with y'all? With them fringes. What's wrong with you observing your culture? Why don't you follow after white people? Why don't you wear a suit and tie and shave your face so you could look like a woman? They laughed us to scorn. Same way they did the prophets of old.
Right.
There's nothing new under the sun. All right. Verse 10. So the post, verse 11. Nevertheless, divers of Asher and Manasseh and of Zebulun humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem. This is, you could parallel this with Christ when he says in the scripture, and he came to his own, and his own received them not. The people who are in love with white people, they love to say, you see, brother, Christ came to his own, and his own received them not. So he had to go to white people. He had to welcome, he had to open the door for white people, brother. You could put this hand to hand with that, because when they went to Manasseh and Zebulun and Asher, what does it say? It says the people, they laughed them to scorn. The people laughed them to scorn. Does that mean every person, every brother and sister from the tribe of Zebulun, from the tribe of Asher, from the tribe of Manasseh laughed them to scorn? It does not mean that. And the next verse proves it. It's the same way in the scriptures in the New Testament when he says that and he came to his own received them not. That doesn't mean every single brother and sister did not receive them, because the next verse said, as many as did receive them, to him give him the power to be the Son of God. I'm paraphrasing, of course. All right, but I think I got that pretty close. Verse 11. Nevertheless, divers of Asher and Manasseh and Zebulun humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem. So you had a portion of the people that humbled themselves, that realized, you know what, our forefathers did do evil against the Most High, and we are following after them. Let's humble ourselves and go back. Let's go and observe the high holy day of the Most High. All right, verse 12. Also in Judah, the hand of the power was to give them one heart to do the commandment of the king and of the princes by the word of the Most High. Verse 13. And there assembled at Jerusalem much people to keep the feast of unleavened bread in the second month, a very great congregation. All right, so we went, observed the Passover, and then the feast of unleavened bread, which follows after. And then after that, you have the feast of first fruit, and tomorrow we are going to close this feast of first fruit. All right, we are doing exactly what, I got you, sis. We are doing exactly what these brothers did that humbled themselves. In the Isupk, we have humbled ourselves. We realized that our forefathers were wrong. We realized that the life that we was living was a filthy, disgusting life. We realized how weak we were celebrating 4th of July, which our people cannot wait to celebrate right now. You know, we less than a month away. We cannot wait to barbecue on the 4th of July with the oppressor. Well, we have humbled ourselves, man. All right, and this is what we have to do as a people. You want to say something, Margot?
When do you celebrate the Feast of First Fruits?
The Feast of First Fruits, that would be, Salakia, get that for me in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter.
No, I'm saying what day and
what day?
What day and what time?
It will be tomorrow, sundown tomorrow. Okay, so sundown tomorrow, you should come here. We're gonna have a feast.
Okay.
You're gonna have some black rice. You're gonna have some chicken, curry chicken. You know what I'm saying? What else, Paratiza? You're gonna have some fried chicken. You gotta have some fried chicken. You know you need it.
I think also macaroni.
You know, some macaroni and cheese. You're gonna have a feast.
All right.
All right.
So I won't eat dinner no more.
Hey, come prepared to eat. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
If you eat, just leave some space because there's gonna be a lot of food here.
Okay.
If anything, you could take a plate home. Take 2 plates home.
Oh, wonderful.
All right. Most High Christ. Verse 14. And they arose and took away the altars that were in Jerusalem, and all the altars for incense took they away and cast them into the brook Kidron. All right. That'll be the 4th set. We go into verse 15 in 2 Chronicles, the 30th chapter. Waya Shaka Tawa Hapasak Ba'ara Ba'ai Aisha Aishara Lakadash Ha Shanya Waha Kahanyam Waha Loyam Naka Lamawa Wayatha Kwa Dashwa Wayabayawa Ain Lawaf Nayaf Yahweh. Verse 16. Wayai Madwa Al Aimadama Kama Shapa Kama Shapatama Shapatham Kama Shapatham Katha Raraf Masha'a Ayash Ha Alahayam Ha Kahanyam Zara Quayam Af Adam Mayad Haloyam. Verse 17. Kaya Rabath Bakwaha Ashar La'a Hatha Kwa Dashwa Waha Loyam Isle Shaka Yataf Hapasakyam Lakal La'a Ta'awo Laha Kwadayash La Yahweh. Verse 18. Kaya Marabayaf Ha'aim Rabath Ma'aparium Wa Manasha Yashakar. Wa is a bottle one. La'a Hata Harawa Kaya Hakawa Af Hapasak Bala'af Kaka Thawab Kaya Hatha Palal Yaka Zakwa Yahwa Ailayaham La Amar Yahweh Hatawab Yakapar Ba'ai. Verse 19. Kal Lababawa Hakayan Ladara Rosh Ha Alahayam Yahweh Alahaya Abawa Tayawa Wala'a Katha Haraf Hakwadash. Verse 20. Waya Shamai Yahweh Al Yakaza Kwa Yahweh, Wayara Pa'af, Ha'aim 21, Wayai Shawa, Banya Yasharala, Hanama Taza Ayam, Baya Rashalam, Af, Kal, Hama Tazawaf, Shaba'ai, Yamayam, Basha Maka'a, Gada Wala'a, Wama Halalayam, La Yahawa, Yaham, Bayaham, Haloyam, Waha Kahanyam, Bakaya, Isa, La Yahweh, verse 22, 15, 16, 17, 21 was the last verse. All right, Second Chronicles chapter 30, verse 15. Then they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the second month, and the priests and the Levites were ashamed and sanctified themselves and brought into the burnt offerings into the house of the Most High. And this is something that our people need to get out of themselves. Being ashamed. Being ashamed is a good thing. All right, it's not a bad thing to be ashamed. Like the scripture tells you in Ecclesiasticus, the fourth chapter, there is a shame that bringeth sin, and there is a shame that bring glory. It's not a bad thing to be ashamed. You should be ashamed to be out here walking around without your beard. You should be ashamed of that. To be walking around here with a shape up. To be walking around here celebrating Easter, celebrating the 4th of July with the oppressor. You should be ashamed of that. And for your sister, you should be ashamed walking around like a whore, like a damn harlot. Come to 125th today in Harlem. We're going to talk to y'all today. We should have shame as a people. It's not a bad thing to have shame. And this type of shame, it brings glory, because you are ashamed to not have morality. You are ashamed to not have dignity. You are ashamed to not live with integrity. And that is a good thing. It's a good thing to have shame. All right? Because this type of shame, it brings glory. All right? So there is context to it when we talk about shame. Because like the scripture said, there is a shame that brings sin, and there is a shame that brings glory, because the other side of that is when everybody is celebrating Christmas and you're ashamed, like, damn, I'm not celebrating Christmas. You're ashamed because you're not celebrating Christmas like everybody. And that type of shame, it brings sin. Because what does he want? He calls you to do? He calls you to say, man, everybody's doing it. Right, Protestant? Everybody's doing it. Let me just do it. Why not? Everybody's eating pork. Everybody's celebrating the 4th of July. Go ahead, Protestant.
Right, sorry, that's that famous saying, when in Rome, do what was in Rome. Or what stayed in Vegas, what happened in Vegas, stay in Vegas.
Yeah. When you go and be a whore in Vegas, meanwhile, you got your husband waiting for you in New York. You go and be a whore and sleep with 3 men and 5 women having orgies. All right? You need to be ashamed of these things. All right? We need to get back to the Most High and have some damn morality.
That's right.
All right? The Levites were ashamed and sanctified themselves. So they cleaned themselves. They were ashamed and then cleaned themselves. And that's what we have to do as a people. We have to be ashamed of the lifestyle that we are living, of the philosophy that we allow our oppressors to impose on us. We have to be ashamed of that and wash ourselves from it and clean our mind, all right? And brought in the burnt offering into the house of the Lord, all right? And today, the burnt offering that we will do is to sacrifice yourself, kill yourself, keep that slut that's in you. Kill that whoremonger that's in you. Kill that effeminate man that's in you, walking around with tight jeans and a clean face. You look like Megan Thee Stallion. It's a like you. Let's keep going. Verse 17. For there were many in the congregation that were not sanctified. Therefore, the Levites had the charge of the killing of the Passovers for everyone that was not clean, to sanctify them unto the Most High. And today, remember the Passover, right? When they say they killed the Passover, that means they killed the sacrifice, right? The Passover was when we was in Egypt and we sacrificed the lamb, right? We sacrificed that lamb to the Most High, and the spirit of death that came on Egypt passed over the children of Israel and killed the firstborn of all the Egyptians. Today, the Passover is not this sacrifice. Today, our Passover is Christ. So because our Passover is Christ, we don't kill a lamb as a sin offering to the Most High when we observe the Passover. All right, we are rehearsing the righteous act of the laws and statutes and commandments that was given to us. Today, we sacrifice ourselves. We sacrifice the person that we used to be. We kill that person, and we become brand new. All right? To give that into perspective for today. Verse 18, for a multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim and Manasseh, Isupk and Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves, yet did they eat the Passover otherwise that it was written. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying saying the good Lord pardon everyone. Verse 19, that prepareth his mind, that prepareth his heart to seek the power, right? When it says heart in the scriptures, in context, it's talking about your mind. So they prepared their mind to seek the Most High. That's how you cleanse yourself. You cleanse yourself by preparing your mind, by emptying out what you thought was right. Because the scripture says there is a thing, I'm paraphrasing, that seemed right unto a man, but the end of it leads into death, leads into destruction. So you prepare your mind by not allowing the philosophies of the oppressor that you have in your mind, that you adopted from your forefathers, from your grandmother eating pork all your damn life, from your grandmother, your mother celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving all your damn life, and you reject that. You empty out that vain philosophy out of you. You prepare your mind to receive the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. All right. The Lord power of the Lord, the Most High power of his fathers, though he be not cleansed according to the purification of the sanctuary. Verse 20. And the Most High hearkened to Hezekiah and healed the people. Verse 21. And the children of Israel that were present at Jerusalem kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with great gladness. And the Levites and the priests praised the Most High day by day, singing with loud instruments into the Most High. Verse 22 in the Hebrew. That would be what, the fifth set, Paratiza? Right. Second Chronicles chapter 30, verse 22. Waya Dabar Ya Kaza Kwa Yahweh Al Lab Kal Haloyam Hamashaka Yalayam Shakal Tawab La Yahweh Waya Kawa Av Hama Wa Aid Shaba'aid Haya Mayam Maza Bakayam Zabakaya Shalamayam Wamata Wadayam La Yahweh Alahaya Abawa Tayaham. Verse 23. Waya wa ai tazawa kal hakwahal la ai shawa shaba ai yamayam akarayam waya ai shawa shaba ai yamayam shamaka. Verse 24. Kaya kazakwa Yahweh Malak Yahweh Harayam Lakwahal Alak Parayam Washa Ba'ai Alapiam Kazan Waha Sharayam Yamawa, Lakwahal, Pariyam, Allah, Wa Tazahan, Ai Sharaf, Alapium, Waya Thakwa Dashwa, Kahanyam, Larab, Waya Shama Kawa, 25, Kal, Quahal, Yahawada, Waha Kahanyam, Waha Loyam, Wakal, Haquahal, Haba Ayam, Maya Sharala, Waha Goyam, Haba Ayam, Ma Arataza, Yasharala, Wa'aya Wa Shabayam, Baya Bayahawada, 26, Wathahaya, Shama Kaha, Gada 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 Walaha, Gada Walaha, Baya Rashalam Kaya, Maya Maya, Shalama, Bun, Dawayada, Malak, Yasharala, La'a, Kaza'af, Baya Rashalam, 27, Waya Kwamawa, Hakahanyam, Haloyam, Waya Barakawa, Af, Ha'ain, Waya Shamai, Bakwa Walam, Watha Bawa, Tapa Latham, Lama'ai 1, Kwadashwa, Lashamayam, chapter 31, verse 1, Wakakalawaf, Kal, Zaaf, Yataza Kal, Yasharala, Hana Mataza Ayam, La'ayraya, Yahawada, Waya Shaba Rawa, Hamatazaba Waf, Waya Ga Dawaiwa, Ha'a Shariyam, Wayana Tha Tazawa, Af, Haba Mawaf, Wa'af, Hama Za Bakaf, Makal, Yahawada, Wabanaya, Wabanyamyam, Waba Aparium, Wa Manashak, Ai Lakala, Waya Shawabawa, Kal, Banya, Yasharala, Ayash, La'aka, Zatawa, La'ai Rayaham, verse 2.
Oh, Salaki. I think that was the last verse.
Verse 1 is the last verse?
Come
All
on.
right. 30 and, what was that, 22?
Come on,
All right, Second Chronicles chapter 30, verse 22. And Hezekiah spake comfortably unto all the Levites that taught the good knowledge of the Most High. And they did it throughout the feast 7 days, offering peace offerings and making confession to the Most High power of their fathers. Verse 23. And the whole assembly took counsel to keep other 7 days, and they kept other 7 days with gladness. Verse 24, for Hezekiah, king of Judah, did give to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 7,000 sheep. And the princes gave to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 10,000 sheep. And a great number of priests sanctified themselves, 25. And all the congregation of Judah with the priests and the Levites, and all the congregation that came out of Israel, and the strangers that came out of the land of Israel and that dwelt in Judah, rejoice. All right. This is a scripture right here that an Israelite is going to tell you. You see, brother? You see? The strangers, brother. The strangers came with us and they rejoice. The The strangers that he's talking about the strangers like that were not in the land of Jerusalem. Remember, Hezekiah did what? He sent the host to give out these letters to all our people that were scattered. He didn't say to everybody. He didn't say to the Ishmaelites. The scripture specifically said, ye son of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, speaking about Jacob and the nation of Israel. Ye son of Abraham, Isaac, let me see. All right, ye children, that's in verse 6, chapter 30, verse 6. Ye children of Israel, turn again unto the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, and he will return to the remnant of you. Who are the strangers? The remnant of you that are escaped out of the hand of the kings of Assyria. So, of course, if you were under the Assyrians, guess what you will be considered? An Assyrian citizen. You will be a stranger to us. All right? Let's keep on going. Verse 26. So there was great joy in Jerusalem, for since the time of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, there was not the like in Jerusalem. All right, there was not the like in Jerusalem since Solomon. Man. All right, and since 1969, this truth that the Most High allow us to receive, and we are going to keep this until our King Yahushua Mashiach return, because we're not going to let this go. Because for a time in Israel, we was living in straight wickedness. There was none that was righteous.
Right.
We didn't have a sanctuary. Today we have a sanctuary. We have the Isupk under command of General Yohanan. All right, verse 27. Then the priests, the Levites, arose and blessed the people, and their voice was heard, and their prayer came up to his holy dwelling place, even unto heaven. Verse 31. So like in chapter 31, verse 1. Now when all this was finished, all Israel that were present went out to the cities of Judah and break the images in pieces and cut down the groves and threw down the high places and the altars out of all Judah and Benjamin and Ephraim also and Manasseh until they had utterly destroyed them all. All right. All right. So all the places that we had these altars worshiping other gods, they destroyed them all. Same way we need to destroy all these Christian church today.
That's right.
All these Christian church with white Jesus in them, they need to be destroyed. And the Most High is destroying them. We don't have to lift a finger.
That's right.
All right. All we have to do is keep doing what we've been doing since 1969, prophesizing against this wicked place, man. Like it says in the book of Jeremiah 28:8. Go ahead, Parasah.
So, if I may, right now there's a small discrepancy that's going on, that in Harlem there's a lot of abandoned churches, and the city want to do something.
Need the Most High ahead. Go on.
Yeah. So the city want to do something, do something about it. This is doing it with Officer Shaka, the rest of the and Salaki, the Officer Hazahab, Officer Shaka, myself, and Trooper Hayala went to that conference.
Right.
Went to the mayor face base, for gun control and
right.
and and that's going along. So we find out that there's they want to do something with those churches,
right,
to give it to the people who's literally doing the work. So that's right now. There's a lot of abandoned churches up and down, up and down Harlem, and they need to do something with that space.
Yeah, Most High in Christ. You know what that means? That means the people are waking up.
That's right.
People are waking up. They're realizing how filthy and disgusting their pastor truly is. They're realizing all the pedophilia, all the idolatry that's going on inside the Christian church. They're realizing that the people in the church are hypocrites. They're realizing it. People are not going to church. They don't find the church as holy place anymore. I remember growing up in Haiti, man, when you passing in front of a church, you go, you do. When you pass in front of the church, it's like, man, come on, you can say a curse word, not inside the church. You know, that I got you. That stronghold that the church had on us, you know, that grip that the church had on us, thanks to the Most High, thanks to the Isupk, that grip is being loosened. That's right. You get what I'm saying? And this is all the work of the Most High, man, through the Isupk. Go ahead, Rox.
Slocky, so what you just said is so hard body went west, because it wasn't just in Haiti. You know what I mean? Just, you know, right, like even over here.
Right.
There was a church on the corner, and you know, and you know what I'm saying, the brothers and sisters do their wickedness. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like about like you know, what I'm saying, two houses down.
Yeah.
And once they get to the church,
right,
they
holy.
do this, yeah, they holy, and that's such a witchcraft.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Across the board, you know what I'm saying, with blacks, Hispanics, and people. That's such a, like, why are you doing it? Just a few minutes ago, you just finished selling drugs to a pregnant woman.
Right.
Then by the time you get to the church, like, oh, let me do this.
Right.
Then you pass, every time, and this happened every time you pass the church.
Right.
You just finished beating up your brother, you know what I'm saying, 3 houses down away from the church. You get to the church, you do this, then, you know, right. Then you go out and do some more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's such a wickedness, because it wasn't just in Haiti, it's all over.
It's all over, yeah. Man, you just finished being a whore Saturday night, and Sunday morning you holy inside the church.
Salaki, sir. You're not even going in the church. Right. You just, you know what I'm saying, you're just in front of the church on the sidewalk, right. Passing by, and you have to do that. Yeah. So you know, you're not the person that go to church, and you're still doing the cross right. Sign and right. You know, and then forgive me, then you're walking on. You're on the sidewalk. You got nothing to do with the church. Right. It's just by like you know, compelled right. to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, Christianity had a strong hold on us, but we are destroying it. We are consuming Christianity. Like it says in 2 Thessalonians, I believe. Matter of fact, grab that from me real quick. Grab 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I believe is in verse 9. All right? Where we at? We're in the verse. I'm gonna finish verse 1. All right. So look for shall consume them with the spirit of his mouth, I think. I believe it's 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9. In pieces, and cut down the groves, and threw down the high places and the altars out of all Judah and Benjamin and Ephraim, also in Manasseh, until they had utterly destroyed them all. I mean, they destroyed all the idols. They destroyed all of them. All right. Then all the children of Israel returned, every man to his possession, into their own cities. You find that? Read it for me, Lord.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8.
And read verse 3 first.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that the day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
All right. So in order for us to rise, right? In order for us to rise as a people, somebody must fall. All right. There's no way that our oppressor is gonna be on top, and then we're gonna be on top next to our oppressor. This is why it is sickening to seek equality, because they must fall in order for us to rise. All right. And that day is not gonna come. The day of our King Yahushua Mashiach returning is not gonna come unless this falling away happens first. Keep going. Read verse 4.
Say that again, sir?
Read verse 4.
Verse 4. Verse 4. Who oppresses?
No. Who? Read the end of verse 3.
The end of verse 3. And that the man of sin be revealed.
All right, the man of sin must be revealed. Now jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed.
All right, so the wicked is gonna be revealed, and the wicked is Rome, man. The wicked is our oppressor. The wicked is Esau. Rome is the empire that is still ruling today. That is the beast today, man. They are still in power. When you're looking at America, you're looking at Rome. All right? And that power is still in the mind of our people. But that power, the man of sin, the wicked, he must be revealed. Because at some point of time, our people, when they see that white Jesus, oh my God, my auntie almost smacked me Parataza one day. We in church and she's praying in front of, the statue in the Catholic church. And she's like, why are you not praying? I was about 10, 11 years old. I'm like, this is a statue. She was going to smack. Man, if I was not in church, she would have smacked me. The look she gave me, like, you know how your parents do. Like, if you don't get, you know what I'm saying? That's how she did. Because that white Jesus, man, he had a strong hold on us. Keep going.
Who the Most High shall consume.
And the Most High is going to consume. And this is what we are doing in the Isupk. Just like in the days of Hezekiah, they went and actually destroyed the altars physically, right? They went and destroyed these. I got you, sis. I got you. They went and destroyed these altars. They went and destroyed these high places. Well, today in the Isupk, this is what the Most High is doing. Say that part again.
Come. Whom the Most High shall consume with the Spirit. You talking about consume, sir?
Keep going.
Slakia. With the Spirit of his mouth.
With the Spirit of his mouth. And the Spirit of the Most High's mouth is in the Isupk. This is why we are consuming all these vain philosophies. Salakia, this is why I'm here today. Because I had a vain Egyptology philosophy in my head. A vain Kabbalah, astrology, voodoo. I had all this all mixed up in my head. And then I heard the Spirit of the mouth of the Most High by Captain Tazariak, who was destroying every vain philosophy in the conscious community. And I'm like, this is where the truth is at. Right? And this is what the Most High is doing with the Isupk, consuming all these vain philosophy with the Spirit of his mouth, which is the Isupk. You got something to say, sis?
Yeah, I want to know where was y'all reading from?
Oh, that was 2 Thessalonians.
2 Thessalonians?
Yeah, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
You could read from verse 1 to 9 to get
a feel? Or?
To get what it's about. All right, so we're going back to the Hebrew. 2 Chronicles chapter 31, verse 2 in the Hebrew. Waya'aimad yakaza kwaya hawa. Check the chapter, right? If you look for some. Af makala kwa waf ha kahanyam wahaloyam al makala kwa watham ayash kapaya ibadthawa lakahanyam wa laloyam la ailaha wa la shalamayam la sharaf wa la dawa wa la halal Basha'ai Raya Maka Nawaf Yahweh, verse 3. Wama Na Hamalak Man Raka Washawa La'ai Lawaf for the burnt offerings. All right. You see, how black people speak. You know how we will say, for real. Yes, man, that's a good one. For real. Yeah, this is what we say it here. La'ai lawaf. Talking about the burnt offering. You know what I'm saying? For real. We gonna eat that chicken for real tomorrow, brothers. For real. Haba kwa wahai rab wahai lawaf lasha bathawaf walaka da shayam Walama'ai dayam kaka thawab batha wa raf Yahweh, verse 4. Waya amar la'ain laya wa shabaya yarash yarashalam lathaf manaf hakahanyam waha loyam lama'ain yaka zakwawa batha wa raf Yahweh, verse 5. Waka parataza hadabar hara bawa banya yasharala wa shayaf the gun Taya Ra Wash Waya Tazahawa Waya Tazahar Wadabash honey Wadabash Parataza, that's a word for you, right? Dabash. When you read that Akwaf, say Shalom Dabash, which means honey. Dabash means honey. Wadabash Wakal Taba Wa'af Shada'a Wama'ai Shara Hakal Larab Haba Yahuwa, verse 6. Wabanya Yasharala Wayahawada Hayawa Shabayam Ba'iriya Yahawada Gum Hum Ma'ai Shara Bakwa Watazahan Wama'ai Shah Quadashium Hama Quadashium La Yahweh Alahaya Hum Haba Yahweh Waya Tanawa Ay Ramawaf. Verse 7. Bakadash Hashalashaya Kalawa Ha'ai Ramawaf Laya Sawad Waba Kadash Hasha Bayaya Kalawa, verse 8. Waya Ba'awa Yaka Zakwa Yahweh Waha Shariyam Waya Ra'awa Af Ha'ai Ra Mawaf Waya Bara Kawa Af Yahweh Wa'af Ai Mawa Yasharala. Wouldn't that be the last verse? That was the last verse, right? Or 9 is the last verse?
Verse 8.
8 is the last verse. All right, come. All right, chapter 31, verse 2 in 2 Chronicles. And Hezekiah appointed the courses of the priests and the Levites after their courses, every man according to his service, the priests and the Levites for burnt offering and for peace offering, to minister and to give thanks and to praise in the gates of the tent of the Most High. Verse 3. He appointed also the king's portion of his substance for the burnt offerings, to wit, for the morning and evening burnt offerings, and the burnt offerings for the Sabbaths, and for the new moons, and for the set feast, as it is written in the law of the Most High. Okay, and this is why today we keep these things. This is why we have the Sabbath service. This is why we fast on the Day of Atonement. This is why tomorrow we're gonna close out the feast of first fruits. This is why we do this thing, because it is appointed to us to do from the commandments that we received from our forefather, all right, Moses, who received it from the Most High power. Verse 4. Moreover, he commanded the people that dwelt in Jerusalem to give the portion of the priests and the Levites that they might be encouraged in the law of the Most High. Verse 5. And as soon as the commandment came abroad, the children of Israel brought in abundance the first fruits of corn, wine, and oil, and honey, and of all the increase of the field, and the tithe of all things brought they in abundantly. Verse 6. And concerning the children of Israel and Judah that dwelt in the cities of Judah, they also brought in the tithe for oxen and sheep, and the tithe of holy things, which were consecrated unto the Most High their power, and laid them by heaps. Verse 7. In the third month they began to lay the foundation of the heaps, and finished them in the seventh month. Verse 8. And when Hezekiah and the princes came and saw the heaps, they blessed the Most High and his people Israel. Today we do these things by rehearsing the righteousness of the Most High, man. The righteousness of the Lord. We have to rehearse. We can't say, you know what, because we don't have oxen and we don't have farms, we can't celebrate the feast. Yes, we can. Bring the rice, bring the black rice. Baratazar, you bring the vegetables, you bring the collard greens. Sister, you bring that mashed potato, all right? Sha'al, you bring the money, okay? We can have a feast, all right? We take that money, we go, we get a drink, we get some yayan, we're gonna have a feast, all right? Not because we don't have a farm, we're gonna say, you know what, we can't observe the law. Now we're gonna observe the law, all right? All right, verse 9 in the Hebrew. Waya darash yaka za kwa Yahweh al hakahanyam waha loyam al ha'ai ra mawaf. Verse 10. Waya amar ala Yahweh aizar Yahweh hakahan haraash labaya kaza dawak waya amar Mahakal, Hathara wa Maha, Labaya, Baya, Yahweh, Akawal, Washaba Wa'ai, Waha Watha, Ai, Larawab, Kaya, Yahweh, Barad, Af, Aimawa, Wahana. Wathal, Af, Haha, Mawan, Hazar. Verse 11. Waya Amar, Yakaza Kwa Yahweh, Laha, Kayan, Lasha, Kawaf, Babayah, Yahweh, Waya Kaya Nawa. Verse 12. Waya Bayahweh, Af, Ha. Ra Wama'a Waha Ma'ai Shara Waha Kwadashyam Ba'a Mawanaha Wa'ai Layaham Nagayad Haloya Washa Ma'aya Hakaya Hawa Masha Naha. Verse 13. Waya Kayahal Wa'ai Zaza Yahweh Wana Kaf Wa'ai Shahal Wayara Ya Mawaf Wayawa Zabad Wa'a Laya'al Wayasama Kayahawa Wama Kaf Wabanya Hawa Pakwa Ya Dayam Mayad Washama'aya Akayawa Bama Pakwad Yakaza kwa Yahweh, Hamalak, Wa'ai Zar Yahweh, Nagayad, Bayath, Ha Alahayam, verse 14, Wakwa Wa Ban, Yamanaha, Haloya, Ha Shawa'ira, Lama Zara Kaha Al. So like it. We're in 14, right? Al Nada Bawaf, Ha Alahayam, Lathaf, Thara Wama, Yahweh, Wakwa Dashia, Hakwa Dashiam, verse 15, Wa'il, Yadwa, Aidan, Wama Nayaman, Waya Shawai, Washama Yahweh, Amar Yahweh, Washaka na Yahweh, Ba'ai Raya, Ha Kahanyam, Ba'a Ma Wana, Lathatha La'a Kayaham, Bama Kalakwa Waf, Kaga Dawal, Kakwathan, verse 16.
That's the last verse, sir.
Kakwathan. That's the last verse?
Verse 15.
15? Can you text that for me, Brother Bishop?
Yeah.
Text me 2 Chronicles 31. What's this? 15, last word. It's texting exactly like that. 2 Chronicles 31, 15, last word.
Okay.
Verse 9 in 2 Chronicles chapter 31. Then Hezekiah questioned with the priests and the Levites concerning the heaps. Verse 10. And Azariah, the chief priest of the house of Zadok, and answered him and said, since the people began to bring the offerings into the house of the Most High, we have had enough to eat and have left plenty. For the Most High hath blessed his people, and that which is left is this great store. Verse 11. Then Hezekiah commanded to prepare chambers in the house of the Most High, and they prepared them. Verse 12. And brought in the offerings and the tithes and the dedicated things faithfully, over which Cononiah the Levite was ruler, and Shemaiah his brother was the next. Verse 13. And Jehiel and Azaziah and Nahath and Asahel and Jeremoth and Josabad and Eliel and Ismakiah and Mahath and Benaiah were overseers under the hand of Conaniah, and Shimei his brother at the commandment of Hezekiah the king, and Azariah the ruler of the house of the power. All right, so what you are seeing here is rank and structure, all right, as far as the service of the Lord goes. Verse 14, just like you are seeing here in the UPK. Verse 14, and Korah, the son of Imnah, the Levite, the porter toward the east, was over the freewill offerings of the power to distribute the oblations of the Most High and the most holy things. Verse 15, and next him were Eden and Miniamin and Jehud and Jeshua and Shemaiah, Amariah, and Zechariah in the cities of the priests in their set office to give to their brethren by courses, as well to the great as to the small. All right. So this will complete the Sabbath service for today. As far as the scriptures goes, we stopping at 2 Chronicles chapter 31, verse 15. We basically saw towards the last verses the structure that was established for the different services, the different office for the service of the Lord. All right, so next week we'll pick up at 2 Chronicles chapter 31 and verse 16. With that, I majum up here. Up here only. Shapar. La Yasharada, which means to Israel. Prayers, men and women of Israel, Majam. So we'll put your Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. We'll recite the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayah. Kodash. Hayah. Shamka. Yahweh. Malakuka. Taba'ah. Hazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashemayah. Thundernawa. Nakam. Ka. Yawam. Wasalakanawa. Kawawakinawa. Asalakanawa. Kawawakinawa. Wala'ah. Habayainawa. Balasaya 1. Abal. Hawashainawa. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Wa'atapara. La'ayla Lamya. Amen. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. The power in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Babakashah, Thunder now, Hakak, Hakak, Yaraba'ah, Hakal Makala, Hakal Manawa, Hakak, Lata'ah, Hamatazariah, Hakak, Lahakwaya, Hamakia, Hakak, Arakara, Hatama'ala, the Gawashun, Ba'ashem Yahushua, the Wada Aman. In the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua, please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness, and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. Cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Hahoyam. Ma'ayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah. Isaiah Ma'an. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayam. Ra'arataza. Ayatan. Lamawat. Lagarka. Yanawam. Shamarka. Hanala'ah. Yanawam. Wala'ah. Yayashun. Shawamah. Yasharala. Yahweh. Shamarka. Yahweh. Kazarka. Al-Yad. Yamyanka. Yawamam. Ashamash. La'ah. Yakaka. Wayarak. Balayala. Yahweh. Yashamarka. Makar Rai. Yashamar. Asnapashka. Yahweh. Yashamar. Tazahaka. Wabawa'aka. Ma'aita. Wa'aid Iwalam. I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh coming from Yahweh.
Your help comes from Yahweh.
Which made heaven and earth.
Who made heaven and earth.
Will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
You will not suffer my foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel
that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall not slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
How is thy shade upon thy right hand?
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite you by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming
From
in.
this time forth,
From this time forth,
even forevermore.
even forevermore.
Psalm 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Ayahayim.
Al damayalaka.
Adam Adakah.
Al takarash.
Adakarash.
Al tashakwat.
Adashakwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Hana.
Hana.
Hawayabyaka.
Ayinamaka.
Yahama Yawan.
Yahana Yawan.
Wamashana Yaka.
Wamashiraka.
Nasha'awa.
Yasha'awa.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al Imaka.
Amaka.
Ya'ira Yamwa.
Ya'ayam.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayata Ya'aita Zawal.
Wayaya Daitazawa.
Alta Zakawanyaka.
Aitazawanaka.
Amarwa.
Amaru.
Lakawa.
Yakawa.
Wanakakida.
Wakakia.
Magoya.
Wagara.
Wala'a.
Waga'a.
Yasakar.
Yashakar.
Sham Yashawal.
Sham Yasha'ar.
Aywa. Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa'aita Zawal.
Wa'aitazawa.
La.
Da.
Yakadwa.
Lakawa.
Alyaka.
Ayaka.
Bara'ah.
Wa'a'a.
Yakawafwa.
Wa'awafu.
Ahoya.
Ahoy.
Adawam.
Ayawam.
Waya Shamai Layam.
Mayashi Yashawam.
Waya
Waya.
Shamai
Shamai.
Alayam.
Ayam.
Mawa'aba.
Wa'aba.
Wahagoyam.
Wahagoyam.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Wa'aimawan.
Wa'ayam.
Wa'aimalak.
Wa'amalak.
Palashat.
Parisha.
Anyashabia.
Ayashab.
Azawar.
Tazawar.
Gamashawar.
Ashwa.
Nalawa.
Ayawa.
Imam.
Amam.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zawawai.
Zarawa.
Labanya Lawa.
Labaya Lawa.
Salah.
Salah.
Aishalaham.
Ashaya.
Madian.
Amali.
Hasayasara'ah.
Kajasara.
Hayabia.
Tayayi.
Banakal.
Balakal.
Kwayashwan.
Kawashmu.
Nashamadwa.
Yashwaru.
Bayanda Ara.
Mayanga Ayu.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Daman.
Amon.
Na Adama.
Na Ayu.
Shayatamwa.
Shatamu.
Nada Yabmawa.
Nayawan.
Nada Yab.
Naya.
Na da Yab.
Daya.
Salaki. Na da Yab.
Daya. Dawa.
Mawa.
Nawa.
Ka'ira.
Kayawa.
Wakaza Abba.
Wakaza Abba.
Wakaza Bak.
Wakaza Ba.
Wakata Zamanai.
Wakaza Aruna.
Kana Sayakamwa.
Kaza Chirakamu.
Ashur.
Ashar.
Amawa.
Amaru.
Nayara Shah.
Anayasha.
Lanawa.
Nayawa.
Ah. Naawa.
Nayawa.
Alahayam.
Ayahaya.
Alahayat.
Ayahaya.
Shayatamwa.
Shirakamu.
Gogala.
Ugaru.
Kwash.
Ukwas.
Lapanya Raka.
Wapanya Waka.
Ka'ash.
Ka'as.
Tabaira Yaira.
Ayah.
Kalaaba.
Ukala Abba.
Tala'a.
Dala.
Hoyam.
Holy.
Kantara Datma.
Kala Jordan.
Basaira.
Basaira.
Basairaka.
Sanjarika.
Wabasa Wapafka.
Wabasta the Pastor.
Tabahalam.
Tabaralo.
Mala'a.
Babaa.
Kanyaham.
Paliham.
Palawan.
Palawan.
Wayabakwashwa.
Kwashwa.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Yabashwa.
Babashwa.
Wayabaawa.
Babaawa.
Ayai.
Ayai.
Wayakapawa.
Wayabaawa.
Wayabadwa.
Wayabaawa.
Wayadaira.
Wayabaawa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Afla.
After.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Labadka. Ayawan. Alka Ha'arakaza.
Alkala Ratiza.
Keep not thy silence on my power.
Keep not the sound of that power.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
Oh my power.
All my
The
power.
Lord our enemies
The Lord our
make
enemies
it tumble.
make it
And
tumble.
they that hate thee
They that hate
have lifted up their head.
thee lift up their
They
head.
have taken crafty counsel against our people
Then take the crafty counsel against our
and
people.
consulted against our hidden ones.
Consulted against our
They
enemies.
have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come.
and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us cut them off from being a
And the
nation.
name of Israel
In the name of
may
Israel,
be no more in remembrance.
and no more
For
remember.
they have consulted together
They have consulted together.
with one consent.
With one
They are
consent.
confederate against thee.
They are confederate
The
against the
tabernacles of Edom
tabernacles
and the Ishmaelites
and Ishmaelites
and Moab
and
and
Moab
the Hagarenes,
and Hagarenes,
the Baal
Gabal,
and Ammon
and
and Amalek, the Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre. I saw also his joy with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zahab. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Almuna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the power and possession. All my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth for wood, and as the flame set of the mountains on fire. To persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O my power, let them be confounded, in trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, that they may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, but the Most High, of all the earth. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shah. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Ala Hayam. Atazab Ya'ah. Alawat Yahana. Ha Alawatya. Ha Saranya. Ha Patazayanya. Ha Kayayanya. Wa Ya'akwatya. Yahweh. Shem Yahushua, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushua, and Michael, and the angel, Commander General Yohana, generals, captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. Blessing in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Barak Lanawa, Wa Yasharala, Waha Bayah, Saparia, Barak, Rafa'ah, Agun, Yasharala, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Wa Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect. Yasharala, in the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. I should get curses. Bless are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses. Punishment and destruction. To the heathen. That speak against us. The prophets. The teachers. The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers. In the school. Send evils and curses. Punishment and destruction. The heathen. Shake loose the treasure. The rich of Israel. That refuse to give to the school. Force their riches. To enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses. Punishment and destruction. To the Edomites. And the nation. In their drug dealing. Court system. Prison system. Planned Parenthood. All the governments of our enemies. Amalek synagogues and armies. Roman Catholic Church. The Pope. Islam. Christianity. Egyptology. Militia. Ku Klux Klan. Aryan Nation. Skinhead. Rasi Kamatazi. Gay movement. Lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. Nassau Space Program. Army. Navy. Air Force. Marines. Wall Street. Open up the internet. Any airways. Cable access channel. The radio channel. Convict the spirit. Many of thy people that seek to stop us. Bring swift destruction. All the heathens that stand in the way. Or try to stop us from broadcasting your word throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them.
Consume
Let the plague
Let the plague
shake the house of the thief
the house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let your house shine.
Let your house shine.
Michael and Gabriel,
Michael and Gabriel,
come down with the flying sorcery.
come down with the flying
And
sword.
punish all the heathen
Punish all the heathen
that come up against
that come
us
up against us.
as we speak downward.
As we speak that
Cause
word.
it to be known by all
Cause it to be known by all.
that it is the angels that have
That
done
the
it.
angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread to the media
Cause it to be spread through the
throughout
media.
the whole world.
Throughout the whole
Cause
world.
them to shake at that coming.
Cause it to shake throughout
In the name
the
of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you always.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
So, which means to turn. Sister Ishabia, which means seated. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat. Amajim, Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakhatam. That's my top. So, to the sister. Men of Israel, sister. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat. Amajim, Barak. Yahweh Shema Rakhatam Hashem Yahushua.
Yahweh Shema Elotam, Bahashem Yahushua.
Yachmata, dismiss. Sign first. Next week, 2 Chronicles 31 and 16, right?